Hey, if you was reading in Revelations 1 and you was reading the firstborn of the dead and the ruler of the kings of the earth, who would you think you was reading about? You have to slide up a line to see that's Jesus Christ is the firstborn of the dead. And so this is part 2. I'll put part 1 right up here and make a lot more sense if you see it first. But I was showing you how they divided this paragraph up, and they set this line 5 in both of these paragraphs. And it's because that's the reason right there. Because the firstborn of the dead didn't come out the way they wanted to sound unless they add this next line to it. And so that's why they numbered it like that. So I read through this on the last movie. I read through it straight. It's designed to come back and read it again following all these marks, the directional marks. And so, grace to you and peace. It carries them in. Carries them in them. We honor Irene. Carries them in them. We honor Irene. And so, about 37 years ago, I was tripping around Europe. And my favorite hobby was drinking local brews and talking to local women. So I was talking to a girl and she mentioned a word and I asked her what that meant, and she says, well, it's kind of hard to explain. You can't just explain. We have a lot of words that take many pages to explain the meaning of one word. And so that's why, in the beginning was the Word. Word was with God. And so there's a lot of words that come out of the Bible, Old and New Testament, that have to do with gods. They had many, many gods. So this word here, it's this is the base word for charisma. They'll call charisma the gift of God. But you can see here charism instead of ma. And so it's the charism in. The charism in them. To thee, or we honor Irene. So this Irene, they say it means peace, but she was a member of the Horus. See, this AE is pronounced the ES, hours, and it means times, and a Roman equivalence, pax, still said to mean peace, and now the daughter of Jupiter, also associated with spring. And Weinstock explained that the idea for the word peace or pax, peace, come from pacici and seem more of a pact. And some argue that pax could have therefore been used more as a political slogan than an actual goddess. And the Christian religion had an effect on the changing of the perception of the word peace to its connection with prosperity. And in the Greek, it's Irene, and she's one of the Horus, the hours, the times, and daughter of Zeus, and sister of Dike. And she's pictured carrying Pluto, the god of plenty, and the son of Demeter, the goddess of agriculture. So she was one of the hours, which means seasons. It's a time, the natural portions of time. And it's said to come from a Proto-Indo-European hour, meaning year. Proto, the first type, Indo-Indian, European, was in Greece before the Greeks. They bring and bestow ripeness, and they come and go in accordance with the firm law of periodicities of nature, of life. Carl Kearney observed, adding, hora means the correct moment at that time. In Hesiod's works and days, the fair-haired horse, together with the Charites, the Graces, the Charis, and Pedo crown Pandora. They're usually 3 and known as the goddess of order of nature, natural order. Sometimes they were the good order and lawful conduct, and her sister Justice, and Irene, the goddess of peace, which has had its meaning changed. And so all the ancient writers in all the ancient books talked about them. And they're said to be the classical 3 seasons of the year. which was the 3 seasons of Egypt. Only had 3 seasons there. You can see Thallo, the one who brings blossom, Oxo, the increaser, and then Carpo, which is, they'll say it means fruit in the Greek Bible, was the one who brings food. And so it wasn't all the seasons, it just has to do with the seasons of agriculture. And that's the first triad. Then in the second triad, they changed the name. It has to do with justice and Libra. After harvest, and you're weighing it up, seeing how much you're going to have to can and how much you can sell. And then order and peace. And then the third triad was substance, abundance, and prosperity. So the 10 or 12 hours described as the daughters of Kronos. And the 24 hours will all have a ruling planet. And this is the same you see in all the magic, witchcraft books. And so I probably have to study this whole chapter real hard before I can nail a meaning down on Irene. But the Charis was, sometimes it was used for the group of the Charites, and sometimes it was a single name of one of the Charites. And they were goddesses of charm, beauty, nature, creativity, goodwill, fertility. And you can see the old Roman spelling, the A-E at the end for the graces. And so they probably pronounced this gracious, T-I-E-S. And some sources use the appellation Charis for the name of one of the Charites and equate her with Eglisa, because she was also referred to as the wife of Hephaestus. And so they were also daughters of Zeus, and sometimes said to be daughters of Dionysius or of Helios. And the reason it mixes up in all them old stories is because it's not gods, it's not people, it's thoughts, it's ideas, it's times, it's happenings. And some of their alternate names meant Earth Mother and Spring Growth, renowned, bright, leader. And so they had all these qualities. And so they would all have, a small difference. So you could see it in the art and you could know what it was talking about by something, by a ring, by a hair. And one writer says, by their side are celebrated mysteries, which must not be divulged to the many. And so it's top secret. But they're very old. They had a cult that was pre-Greek origin, same. And the purpose of their cult appears to be similar to that of nymphs, primarily based around fertility and nature, with a particular connection to springs and rivers. And so they lack music and reefs and flutes, but the dance appears to be strongly connected with their cult. And they were commonly depicted in sanctuaries of other gods. And so it's just a way of showing qualities. So it just turns out to be a never-ending study. I have to study all kind of things that I never really cared about in order to read the Bible. It was never meant to be easy. So the last section, it ended with the day to gig the pig, the new year. And then Johanna, Santa, Oya, Anna's, the time to clean up the calendar. To the sepulchres, it has the smell. So charism in them, we honor Irene. So, the Irene, they say, it used to mean a pax or pact. And so, I say that this renege, and it means to change the deal. And so the charism in them, we honor the changed pact. And then of a way, and I believe this is reading O-N-O, ono. Ono means 6. Mono means 1, but ono means 6, O-N-O. Ono, and the 6 new, N-U. The 6 new, and then on in. And of the son, them, of share, here coming as, and of awaiton, and of await on, the fit atop, the pan whom it on, the wind whom it on, the direction whom it on. And so, like I was saying as I read the beginning of this, it was talking about the old astrology wasn't working out. It was time to redo the astrology of the day to gig the pig, of the new year, and the Santa Joanna, to clean up the calendar. And so the graces and the hours are getting a new place. They're getting a new position to get the astrology all right again. Of away, of ono, of six new, of none, and of the sun them of share, here coming as, to of away on the fitted top, pan, the pan who, the wind who, that which is from, that the direction of that wind. And then ano, A-N-O, is a year. The ano, if of, O-B, O-V, the N-E turns into the B. If of, no peon, if none after. And the year, if none after. To with run of. And then A-U-O-T, ought, what of. And of away was eyes of, cries to, vom, V-O-M, V-O-M, from art us, and of away of eyes cries to, from art us of pistos, from the decorations on the floor of proto of the first type to cost on. And then where this was the black new before, now it's the N-E is B, and it's in the chrono, K-R-O-N-U. Key is a U, chrono. Chrono, he was the father of the Charis. But chrono, it's also a singular of cronies, I believe, and the crown. And the first in the proto to cost on in chrono. On, O-N, on occur, the archon. On occur, archon. And occur, that's, the valley of occur. That's the sun sitting between the two lions of occur. Occur is the Egyptian deity, another god. And this is what it represents is this is the sun and its time, its position. The two lions are yesterday and tomorrow. Yesterday and tomorrow. And so, you're looking down the sights. And it means you're right on the sight. It means right now. It's the time of occur. It's occurring right now. And on occur, arch on. On occur, the archon, toned, fashion, in a cillian, in a sile, in protection on. A sile protection is your kingdom. A castle is where that comes from. A-S-I-L-E, castle, Basil, in a sile, in the protection on this location. Charism inum, we honor Irene. Of away, ono, new, of six new, on in, and of sun them of share, here coming as, and of await on, the fit atop, penumeton, of the wind's direction, the pneumaton. Anno, if of in a peon, the year of if in a peon, the year if in behind. This is a O-V of in a peon. A peon is behind and a no peon is in front. And so on the ano, in the year if of in behind, to withrun of aught what to, and of a way was eyes of cries to, from art us of pistos, of prototokos, of the first to cost on, in chrono, in time, on occur, arc, the arch on fashion. In the time and occur, the arch on fashion. The arch is the big arch above, with all the stars, all the times and the gods. On occur, the arch of, in the time of the arched tone, the ton, the fashion, the vessel on this location, this gist. So pretty much everything I've been reading about in the New Testament here has been about astrology. I think the Old Testament came much before this. I think they lost a bunch of technology. I think that's all they had was the astrology. But the Greek is getting easier to read pretty quick. It's not taking near as long as it took to figure out the Hebrew. But I believe I'm going to go ahead and read some more of this in my next movie. I want to get to this. You know, this is the same word for the saint, the santi. And lusanti, you know, is the translucence, you know. That's where that word comes from. How you can see through it. And I believe this could give me a better idea of this santi that I believe means sanitized, clean. Which, you know, if your windows are clean, you know, they're lucent, translucent. You can see through. And so they definitely got this releasing wrong. But that'll be in the next movie.
Don't forget. I won't forget.
Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.